Alright, what's going on, big dogs? SG Leo here, and in today's video, we go over a recent study that shows Americans are officially scoring lower and lower on IQ tests. So sit back, relax, and let's dig into this. Alright guys, so for the first time in nearly 100 years, America has officially, according to a Northwestern University study, have gotten dumber according to IQ scores. Now, what could be causing this? I personally believe that there are several major things that are causing this decline in IQ performance. But before we get started, it's important to note that many people have performed worse on these IQ scores when it comes to things like basic logic or common sense, and major things like problem solving or figuring out situations, right? Now, they try and explain in the article, which I will link down below, they try and explain this away by saying that this generation is just worse at test taking or worse at taking this specific test, which, in my opinion, is one of the worst excuses I have ever heard. And I can almost guarantee you that I have the answers to this decline. So let's start off with the first problem. So the first problem I see is the ease at which people are able to get satisfaction. So this would explain more of the inability to problem solve or to think logically. For a while now, we have all been able to get instant gratification or a quick dopamine fix by simply going onto Twitter or YouTube or TikTok, Instagram, you name it, and we can post a photo or a comment that makes us feel good, or maybe it gets a lot of likes, right? That gives us a quick dopamine fix. Maybe we check up on our favorite celebrity and they just had a cute baby, or maybe we check out on our sports team and they just won the championship or something along those lines, right? It gives us that quick, instant gratification, right? And the problem with this is, as people, the easier and easier it becomes to get that quick dopamine fix, the more and more our brains are just naturally going to want to take it, right? That's why whenever you're in a bad mood, a lot of people instantly grab their phone or open an application, or maybe they hop onto Facebook and post something to hopefully get a few likes or something along those lines, because that gives us that quick, instant gratification, right? Other studies have even shown that people over the last, 20, 30 years have had a major decline in their ability to problem solve. Now, I don't have that exact study, so I don't want to give you guys some false information, but you can kind of see it in everyday life, right? So many more people, whether it be on TikTok or Facebook, YouTube videos, things like that, are constantly complaining and just aggravated at things that 10, 15 years ago, you'd be considered kind of a loser or being a baby, for not simply doing basic tasks. But now so many people think of them as hard because it's not instant gratification. So this has led to basically many kids being trained, in a sense, to just pick up a tablet or a phone and treat this thing as like a godsend, right? Like, try taking away a phone or a tablet away from your kids, right? Try doing that. A lot of kids will kick and scream, whine, complain, call you names, whatever. And a lot of parents, especially on a lot of these apps, a lot of these newer parents in my age group, which I'll talk about here in a second, are calling that child abuse, which just shows how some people really rely on technology to raise their kids for them. And that leads me to my second theory, which is that parents have quit trying to be parents. And what I mean by this is that parents, especially those of my generation, like I stated previously, so anyone from between the ages, I would say about 22 all the way up to mid 30s, so like 35, maybe at that point you have 2 or 3 kids. That group, that 13-year range there, that group of people was kind of the first group to push computers and push having a personal computer in your home, right? They were kind of the first, we were kind of the first generation to kind of make it a normal thing, right? By begging our parents to get one or something along those lines, right? And I see many people in my group, which just sickens me, being okay with raising what a lot of people like to call an iPad kid. Now, iPad kids are basically children that are raised on a tablet, okay? They're kids that really are only social media kids. And you see this all the time. Go on TikTok, go on YouTube Shorts, find like family shorts or whatever, and you'll see a lot of parents and a lot of background footage of these parents who their kid's kind of just there to be a celebrity for them, right? They like to post about their kid, they like to brag about their kid and all this stuff, but they don't actually want to raise their kid, right? Whenever it's actually time to be a parent, they give them a phone, they give them a tablet, and tell the kid just to leave them alone, basically. So this kid becomes attached to the tablet because it's an instant dopamine fix. So like I stated earlier, the kid becomes addicted to this thing very young. Basically, the way these parents have started operating is, as long as the kid isn't crying or bothering you, you must be doing it right? You must be a good parent because your kid's not crying, your kid's not causing a fuss, so you must be doing a wonderful job, right? No. Okay? And that leads me to my third and probably the most important reason for this decline, and that is the massive culture shift that we have seen here in the US. So I should state before continuing that this decline has already happened in most European countries. It's not just America that is seeing this decline. Europeans had this shift in culture a little bit before we did. I would say at about the early 2010s is when they started to see their first dip in education decline or IQ scores. And that shift is the idea that it is now more important to be woke, as many people like to say, or worry more about how not only you, but others feel than it is to get a basic education. We have seen this in many schools, and you can open up TikTok at any point and see that there are tons of teachers and school staff that are much more concerned with what the kids believe in and that the kids accept them for what they believe in than actually giving them the proper education that they are there to receive. I'm not going to get into politics because that never leads to anything good, but I think as a whole, we can all agree that the point in school is to get that foundation of knowledge to build on, right? We need to learn the basics before we can move on to more advanced things. The old saying, you have to learn to walk before you can run, so to speak. Now, the second part to this culture change is that parents as a whole have decided that there is just no way their kid or they themselves are the problem. I see it so often now, and I know that there's always been that kid. I'm sure we all know that kid who was just the worst, and yet they could never get in trouble by their parents or anything because their mom or dad or both of them were like, no, not our kid. He would never do that, or she would never do that. She's perfect. Nobody can do anything wrong anymore. It's always somebody else's fault, and this has done nothing but hurt all of us. There are parents out there right now pushing for easier courses in school just because their kid is saying it's too hard for them. Just to find out later that this kid just didn't want to do his homework and lied to try and get his parents on his side, right? Because kids will do that, right? If kids can get away with things, they're going to try and get away with things. It's just how kids are. We have parents blaming other kids. We have parents blaming other parents. We have parents blaming the entire school for their kid not doing well. We have basically given up on doing anything difficult as parents. Any problem that our kid is having, if it can't be solved by the iPad or by TikTok, we give up. And it's only going to continue to get worse. We've given up on doing anything difficult, not only as parents, but in the big picture as a country as a whole. And this has all led to lower IQ scores and will continue to do so if we don't stop, look in the mirror, and take some responsibility. But anyways, guys, that's all I got for you today. Thank you all for your time. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you guys all in the next video. Have a good night, guys.
I lost my best friend to 23. She left her body in Harvard above me.